So you have to understand that some things are more important. Like some things are literally more important than carrying pain and hurt and unforgiveness. And you ask, how do we let go of the pain? First, you have to identify what pain you are carrying. And how you identify what pain you are carrying is by sitting still sometimes. See, many of us don't sit still. We don't sit still. We don't give our time, we don't give our body time to sit still. The only time we sit still is when we go to sleep. And by the time we're not conscious, we are unconscious. And if you're unconscious, there's no communication. Except if you are dreaming certain things. Thank you for the gift. Except if you are dreaming certain things. And sometimes even in your dreams, you still don't know what you're dreaming. And you still don't know what it means. Hey, Miss Brightside, how are you? Good to see you. Miss Brightside, I meant to inbox you about the shirt. I don't know why we didn't talk about it more. But thanks, Happy Mother's Day. But yeah, I think we it's like we hold on to so much stuff, right? But we don't sit still and let our heart speak. We don't sit still and let our mind speak. We don't sit still and let the body tells us what's going on. I am Miss Brightside, the one of the most attractive truck driver in the entire world. But yeah, so how do we get rid of the pain? Is by sitting down and quieting ourselves. We gotta quiet the heart, quiet the mind, and sit your body down and say, hey, listen, body, shut your mouth and let me speak. Just speak to me, not in stress, not in pain, but just telling me what's going on, And I think you got your blessing, good. But if we listen to see what's really going on with us, we're gonna find out. But we don't sit still. One of the big things is about sitting still. We have to learn to sit still. Happy Mother's Day to all. Everybody saying happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Elizabeth. Happy Mother's Day to everyone in this room. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I hope your dreams come true and you're happy being a mother, and the mother stuff is just looking good on you. Your spirit and your mind is clear and your day is just beautiful. So I hope everybody have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Mother's Day. Blessed and beautiful. What's going on? It's Casey. How you doing? Hey, Abby. Hey, Abby. Hey, Abby. How you doing? So yeah, but many of us have a lot going on in our spirit, and we have so much going on in our spirit, and we are suffering, man. We are suffering. I don't know why we're suffering so much. I don't know why we choose to carry these things. We choose to carry these things, and we don't even know that we are choosing to carry these things. As a matter of fact, we think that we don't have a choice. Many times, we think that we don't have a choice. We don't even realize that we have a choice, but we are carrying these things. We are carrying these things by a choice. If somebody do you something, you have a choice in how you react. You can either get mad or not. I don't play guitar. I just have it there. I mean, I want to play it, but I don't know how to play it yet. If somebody lied to you, if somebody did something to you or hurt you, hey Yanni, or do something to you, we have a choice in how you react. We have always had a choice. And when you understand that you have a choice, you start to actually do things differently. But when you just reacting based on, when you react based on thinking that you don't have a choice, man, listen, it's like your choice is being taken away from you. And now your heart is being blocked. And when your heart is being blocked, hey Kanisha, when your heart is being blocked, your frequency is being blocked. And when your frequency is being blocked, your manifestation stops. And then happiness stops. And then joy freezes up. And then everything in your life just goes on pause. Because we're holding on to somebody's garbage. And many things that we hold on to is not even ours. These things that we are holding on to ain't ours. It was never ours to begin with. You see what I'm saying? It was never ours to begin with. It was never yours. But we take these things from these toxic people. And it's not that people are toxic. People are just doing the best that they can. People are operating on certain frequencies. We call them toxic people. But in all reality, they're not toxic. They are doing the best that they can. We are all doing the best that we can. And everybody sometimes is toxic to somebody else. I don't care how high your frequency is. Everybody can be toxic to somebody because everybody don't need you, right? And sometimes you try to put yourself into somebody's life, trying to give them all these things, trying to teach them something, trying to give them something that they don't want. Then they becoming bitter, they becoming resentful. Yeah, you become toxic. Exactly, Miss Brightside. They can't give what they don't have. And no matter how high our frequency is, we can be toxic. So it's not that people are toxic just because they want to be. People, we are all on different frequencies, and we must accept the fact that people are just people. But we have to, what we have to do, we have to start to open our hearts. And when you open your hearts, man, listen, you will ask for an apology. You will say, hey, I'm sorry. You know, when is the last time we apologized? When is the last time we open our hearts and say, hey, you know what? I forgive you. When is the last time we have forgiven somebody from years ago just because it was like, I feel like my heart is telling me it's hurting because I'm carrying too much pain in it. Having a terrific day. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yanni. Thank you so much. But seriously, when is the last time your heart told you, listen, stop carrying people who don't want to be carried with you? Sometimes we are dragging these people along, and then we feel the pain, and then, oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm so drained. See what I'm saying? We are people. Your mom's room. People have different views and beliefs. There's nothing we can do but to accept it. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. That's just it. And when you because you know what, a lot of us are not at peace with ourselves. We are not at peace, because if you are at peace with yourself, why do you care what somebody says or somebody does? Why do you care so much about the actions or the behavior? If you're at peace, you're at peace. Many times our peace is so conditioned. Our peace is like, if everything is going right, I will stay at peace. If everything looks good, I'll be at peace. The conditional peace is actually the opposite of peace. Because when you have conditional peace, if something doesn't bring you peace, you are ready to go to war with it. Your frequency drop, your feelings change, you're angry, you're mad because you think somebody's trying to take your peace. You know how many of us, we say that we are going to do something. I'm going to be this person today. Today's going to be a beautiful day, right? But when life brings up challenges that day, the first thing that you think is that I'm being tested. Peace and self-love, facts. I'm being tested. The devil is testing me. You hear grown people saying this. The devil is testing me. But what if life is giving you an opportunity to practice what you said that you are? See, we don't think this way. We don't see. Sometimes when we say this is what I am, this is what I choose to be today. I choose to be happy and peaceful, and I choose to be loved. When something happens that day, your boss pissed you off, your wife, girlfriend, husband, boyfriend pissed you off. They say something in traffic, something happened in traffic, somebody cut you off. Instead of practicing what you said that you are gonna do, you know what you do? I'm being tested. How do you grow? How do you grow if opportunities don't arise so that you can practice being who you are? But many of us don't want to practice what we are. See, we think that the outside world have a power over our actions. We believe that the outside, people on the outside and things on the outside and the material things on the outside, we are justified by that so that we can behave how we want to behave. Like somebody get you angry and you want to just go off. Somebody get you upset and you want to cuss somebody out thinking that, I'm justified. You want to put your hands on somebody because you feel like you're justified. You want to hold somebody hostage in your heart, feeling like you're justified. You holding people's hostage right now in your heart. We doing that. We carry unforgiveness. And when you carry unforgiveness, you are holding people hostage in your heart. And your heart can't carry two people, or three or four. It can only have enough for one. So now you are realizing now that you are tired, and you are drained, and you are burdened, and you are unhappy. How can you be happy if you're carrying so many people in your life? Hey Bella Rose, how are you doing? How can you be possibly happy and free when you're dragging 3-4 people? Everyone that hurt you, you carry them. Because you think forgiving them is letting them off the hook. We carry people in our spirit that we shouldn't. We carry too many people. And after a while, when you carry something on your back for so long, everywhere you go, you will meet it. because you are carrying it. So you can't hide and you can't get away from it because you are carrying it in your heart. I actually asked somebody that hurt me to forgive, and I forgive myself, and I got free. Yeah, I'm telling you. Hey Kia, how you doing? Enjoy your day. Happy Mother's Day, Kia. Thank you so much. So now, like tonight, I was doing some meditations, and I got so deep in my heart chakra, and I asked my heart, what should I do? Is there anybody that I haven't forgive? Is there anybody that I haven't sympathized with or empathized with? Is there anyone that my compassion was off from? And my heart said yes. It's 2 people. And immediately I grabbed my phone and I had to apologize. Because we have to trust what our heart tells us. And me apologizing don't mean, if I'm, my ego sometimes. See, sometimes our ego is just too much, man. You know what I mean? Amazing, Kia. Amazing. Thank you, Miss Brightside. Thank you. But yeah, sometimes our ego is so powerful that it stops us from seeing that sometimes we are. And you know what, though? To be honest, hey, Queen, see, how are you doing? Hey, Sun Grace. Hey, Tasha, how are you? Sometimes we think that we are good people, right? And since we are good people, as we call it, good people, whatever we consider good to be, we think sometimes we can't be the toxic one. We think that we can't stop somebody's growth. We think that we can't stop somebody's happiness. We sure can. Thank you for the gifts. What's his name? Quinika? I had a big talk with my daughter today. Amazing. But sometimes we feel like it's always everybody else, but it's never us. Listen, even if you mean well, and sometimes you knowing that you mean well, yes, you can forgive yourself and say, I mean well, my intentions are right. You know what? Let me back off. Let me back away with love. Let me still love anyways and back away. So even if you meant well and it didn't come out to be well, saying this the other day, I did forgive. Their actions impacted my entire life. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes and that's hard. Mima, what's good with you, man? I knew you was here. What's going on, my handsome younger brother? How you doing, man? But yeah, sometimes we don't mean people harm either. But sometimes being the more conscious person, sometimes it's called like, being the bigger person. Sometimes being the bigger person, you gotta make decisions for both people, for 3 people, for 4 people. And the decisions sometimes hurt. And yes, they look at you like you're toxic. They look at you like you're the bad person. They look at you like you are the mean, ugly person sometimes, because you have to decide certain actions to protect everyone, not just you, not just them, but to protect everyone. Reputations, emotions, hurt later on in life. Sometimes you gotta do all them stuff, but sometimes you are the enemy in somebody's story, even though you don't mean to. Even though you don't mean to be an enemy, you become the enemy. So sometimes you can't really take it personal because everybody's gonna see you differently anyways. If you have to say that, it's I'm serious. So sometimes we have to understand, man, even us, even in these relationships, we have these relationships that you think that you're trying to make somebody better. I'm trying to make him better or make her better. I'm trying to make them see themselves. I'm trying to show them all this love so that they can change and fix their actions. And sometimes those people are getting worse. Sometimes they start to lie to you because they don't want to, they don't want to disappoint you. They don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want to leave you because now they're going to feel guilty. Sometimes they don't want to leave you because if they leave you, then you're going to feel. Sometimes we stop people's growth too. What's up, Sam? How are you doing? That can be hard. Being a bigger person is very hard sometimes. Sometimes being a bigger person sometimes is hard. But now, check this out. If you are always the bigger person, you have to ask a question. Why am I hanging out with little people all the time? Hey, Janice. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes if you're gonna always be the bigger person, you have to ask a question. Why am I always with little people? Victorine from Maryland. How are you doing? Namaste. I miss your lives. Thank you. But yeah, so we have to understand, man, sometimes we can be the abusers. And we have to open our minds. We have to open our heart. Some people ain't ready to learn. Some ain't ready to progress. Some ain't ready to love. Some ain't ready to be happy. Some ain't ready to be in committed relationship. Some ain't ready to learn the truth. Some people we all have to go through our process. You know, there was a time when we wasn't ready. Hey, Leah. My daughter's name is Leah. There was a time when we wasn't ready too. And people used to piss us off. Every single time they bring certain truths to us, they make you upset. They to mess up your entire day. Not that they were being toxic, but you looked at them like, why are you bothering me? Listen, sometimes you have to let people learn on their own. Go and come as they please. Set people free. That don't mean that just because you set them free doesn't mean that you don't love them. You love them to death. Or to life. What happened to Freaknik? I was supposed to be there. So, you know what? I thought about it and I was occupied, so I couldn't do it. my bad, Miss Bryce. It's a Freaknik. That's funny. But yeah, for real, Queen. I mean, seriously, man, we have to be able to set people free and say, listen, I love you, but I gotta set you off on this. You know, like, you know what? Next Friday, for sure, Miss Bryce. Next Friday. What's going on, Mello? Peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you. But yeah, man. But many of us, we can't set people free. As soon as we set people free, you know, we have this. You know what? Let's talk about Hey Venus B, how you doing? Veteran Compass, what's going on with you? You know what? You know one of the hardest things that we have issues with is soul ties. Let's talk about soul ties for a minute. That was on my spirit today. Soul ties. I was in the bathroom taking a shower, and when I'm underwater, for some reason, I'm experiencing some high frequency when I'm underwater. That element, water, always just let my mind just go to things and let my mind experience traveling, right? Hey, Miss Sauter, how you doing? And when I was taking my shower and the water was going on my skin, I think about soul ties. And I start to, so I'm at a place in my life. I hope people understand what I'm saying. Hey, Prissy. I'm at a place in my life where spiritually I'm open-minded. I'm open spiritually to have certain connections and certain. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, and I don't really want to say too much about it. But I'm at a place in my life spiritually, in my consciousness, where I'm very open to the universe, and the universe always teaching me, because I'm a student of life, right? I'm a life student. I learn from every single thing. I mean, from everything. My daughters, my son, the ants, the rock, the bees, the water, fire. Like everything teaches me. So I'm at a place in my life where I learn, and I don't know if I'm learning or I'm just connecting to certain things. And as I was in the water, I was thinking about these soul ties that we have, that we think that we have all these soul ties that we can't break. But in all reality, we think that the more we have sex is when we have soul ties. But soul ties isn't just sex. Soul ties ain't just sex. Soul ties. See, we think that we have to have sex to have soul ties. Let me tell you all, it's not. Sex is just one of the parts that, that's like an addition to. Sex is not how you develop soul ties. Listen, we have to know this. Sex is not how soul ties is transferred. Yeah, sex transfers certain energies, karmic energy. Hey, Son of Shorty, how you doing? Sex, could create, strong bonds, but understand this. Many of us meet people online. People that we never seen before, we have soul ties with. People who we have never met in person, we can connect soul ties with. Because once you open up your mind and your heart and your spirit, because sometimes you are so vulnerable at times, right? Because you want this to work so much, so you open up yourself. Hey, Ruby, how you doing? Even when you meet a stranger in the streets and there's yeah. Listen, when you decide to open up your heart, and sometimes you don't even decide to do it. When you open up your heart and your consciousness and your spirit, man, them souls start to intermingle. Yeah, and it feels good. It feels amazing because now this connections is so strong. So now you crave this person. You want to be around this person. You want to talk to this person. This person became a part of your daily conversation, your daily actions, your daily plan. Everything is included. This person is included into your entire life. It is not a sexual thing. It's a soul thing, right? So when you open up your spirit, so many of us have people in our life that we are opening up our souls to completely. That's why they can't leave. Let me tell you this, man. I was in the bathroom and I was thinking about certain things that I might have in my spirit yesterday, and I released the soul tie yesterday. You know, I was sick all day yesterday. Not sick as in sick, but I just had this pain in my body was just very uncomfortable. My body was just it was just filled with discomfort. A person I never met in my life. And my body I woke up this morning and still it was like, man, I thought this sleep was gonna fix this. Because of numbers, and I related, even they were having heard. Oh, amazing, Moxie, amazing. But we have to understand it. When I did the soul tie release, and I do different types of soul tie release. I do stuff with pictures, I do stuff in the shower, I do stuff in the water. And when I release the energy, it's like, oh, my stomach started to feel funny. And I was like, what the heck? This is a strong one. Let me tell you this. These people, these souls, don't want to leave your body. They don't want to leave your spirit. They fight hard to stay with your spirit. They're fighting hard to stay. This is why every time you're about to, the project is real, right? It's why every time that you're about to get rid of somebody from your spirit, they always end up calling you. They be like, hey, stranger. Hey, what you doing? Hey, I was just thinking about you. And as soon as they connect with you or call you, here you go. It was a sign. Yeah, Tasha, for real. It was a sign. I was just thinking about you. It must be a miracle to say, maybe I shouldn't let you go. This stuff is real. This stuff is so hard to get rid of sometimes. And it's not that it's hard. It's just that we are so used to certain things to feel in a certain way. Because when we start to break these soul ties, our body just feels awkward. The mind is in a place where it doesn't understand anything. Because now an identity is about to leave. So now you're like, oh, shoot. You're like, oh, shoot. What is going on? Your body starts to feel funny sometimes. Sometimes you even create anxiety, depression happens, and the body just yearns for that person. You want to be touched from this person. I do live in Estonia, Mike. I do. Careful how we interpret these signs. I learned by lesson. Yeah, listen, man. But we have to understand that we have to understand. Though we are experiencing this, it is okay. Because now what the body needs, what the spirit needs to distance itself. Hey, Erica, how you doing? The body needs to distance itself, right? Because many times when we have this soul connection or this spiritual connection, it's very hard to distance ourselves. Because these people, see, this other person always he or she don't mind having the soul tie with you. Because he don't know. Most people don't know what's going on within their body. They want sex and they're like, hey, what you doing? And you're like, hey, I'm nothing at all. And he's like, hey, what you doing tonight? Nothing. Why? And he's like, so, I was just thinking about, coming to see you. And you're like, the last time you pissed me off, and I don't want to do nothing with you because you're going to always play games with me. So, you can come, but nothing going to happen. And you're like, yeah, what's going on, Erica? How are you? And, he's like, yeah, that's cool. But he knows better. He knows exactly what to say. He knows what to do. He knows where to touch you. He knows where to talk to you. He knows the way how to talk to you and to get, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, yeah, I got you. And he comes over, right? He comes over and you're like, hey, you can't stay long, right? And he's like, well, I don't need to stay long. She's like, okay, well, you can sit next to me. And then he start doing this thing. And bam, next thing you know, tomorrow morning you wake up, both you are naked. You don't know how you got butt naked. It just happened. And because the connection is so strong, right? Hey, Cream Chami, how you doing? The connection is so strong, right? No, you don't even know how to say no. You don't even know how to say no because the body, the body is just one part. So now here you go, you wake up butt naked, he looking at you looking at him, you're like, I gotta go through this again. And every time they leave you, hey Lisa, every time the person leaves you in the morning, you start to feel shitty again. I'm trying to keep picturing him. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. But seriously, listen, every time you leave that person, you feeling horrible. Queen, horrible. I'm talking about you start to feel like shit. Even sometimes you even feel drained because that person ain't good for your spirit, right? It's like it's completely on a different end of the frequency. They feel like, oh, here we go. So now when you feel worthless. Yeah, Tasha, for real. And I know the feeling. You're like, man, what the hell did I just do? But you just can't say no. So it's like you're always going back to the same place, doing the same thing, and having the same results, but you can't stop. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you can't, but you can. It happened this morning to you, Queen. I'm sorry to hear that. But it's real. It happened. It happened to me too before. Hey, Tink, how you doing? It happened to me years ago when I practiced all that stuff. Man, listen, I used to be wild. I don't know how Lord, have mercy. But how you do that, you have to distance yourself. Because the body wants what it wants, right? The body wants what it wants. The body wants what it wants. The body wants to be touched and felt. Hey, Sheila, how are you? Phone call. Yeah, a phone call. I'm telling you. What's going on? First Lady, how are you? I did this once and I literally thought I was going to throw up. Man, I'm telling you. This is real. This is real stuff. Hey, Nakweli. This is real stuff. Queen Charming, this is real stuff. And the thing is, it's so hard to say no, but you have to create distance between you. Because the body's going to want what it wants. The body is used to feeling your touch. The body listen, your body learned how to get opened and vulnerable with this person. The body learns like how to just be vulnerable with this person. This person connected to a part of your body that just makes it feel vulnerable. It makes it feel open. It makes it feel, hey Star Jackson, how are you? It makes it feel wanted and free. The body feeling free around this person, even though the spirit doesn't. Think you're working too hard, man. You're working too hard. So now your body craves that sex, that touch. The body craves that feeling, that voice. The senses begin to trip. If I hear your voice, if I see you, if I feel you, if I taste you, what the hell is the other sense? Here, and I smell you. If I smell your cologne or your perfume, if I use my senses to experience you, I'm completely open. So the best thing to do is when you want somebody so much and you know that you shouldn't, separate yourself. That's how you break it. Well, that's one of the stages. That's one of the first stage. That's the first step. Separate yourself. And then so now when it comes to soul ties, there's a karmic energy that this person have and that you have naturally. You have personal karma, then you have ancestral karma. Now, when you bond with somebody, you share their ancestral karma too, and they share yours. They share your personal karma too. They share your ancestral karma. Listen, there's a lot of karmic energy that's transflowing, and we don't understand. This is a big deal. This is a huge deal. This is bigger than you think. This is bigger than you imagine. It's a lot of karmic energy that's passing through both your bodies and your soul. So now, that's why the connection is so tight. And do you notice that you don't get soul ties with everybody that you sleep with? But the ones that you connect with at a certain level, that soul ties is like, oh my God, I can't get rid of you. I know this ain't gonna work. Hey, thank you, first day. Thank you. Seriously, like I know this is not gonna work. I know you ain't for me. I know you're not the one, but I can't do nothing. Because when you have karmic flow, their karmic energy keeps pulling you because you are now a part, they are a part of you. Literally, they are in your spirit talking to you. So they can pull you. So there's 5 senses experience them through you. So it's like they're using their sense, their touch, is within you. So because you have another person within your body. So we have to understand this is real. This is very strong. Hey, Bob, mommy, how are you doing? So now, the thing is about working off that karma. You gotta work off that karma because now you have their karma in you. So now to get rid of the karma, you gotta stop. Listen, if you're driving a car, and you feel the engine is feeling kind of funny, cars get shaky, what do? You stop and you pull over. You see what's going on. You don't keep driving hoping that it won't break down. You don't keep driving because it's too risky. You don't keep driving the car because you might break it more, you might get in an accident, you might do all these things. So what you do, you stop. You gotta stop. My soul type could call me anytime it was a rap. I was going, yeah. The first thing that you gotta do, you gotta stop and separate yourself. How are you doing, Mom 3 Noah? You gotta separate yourself. Stop. Because now you gotta work off the karmic energy. That person has a karmic energy within you. That other karma of the person, karmic energy is transferred from them to you. Now you have to work that off because that's within you. So now how to work that off is that the more you do, the more you think, the more you do, the more you think, the more you do, the more you think, is the more you build. Because do you notice that the more you want to hate somebody, the more you want to stop loving them, the more you want to hate on them is when you love them more and you get more frustrated, you get more angry, you get more bitter, but you still love them the same damn way, even more. So now it's harder to even break away because the more you want to hate them is the more you love them. The more you want to despise them, you just can't. Yeah, you might act out being angry, but you love them to life. The more you want to just disregard them and dismiss them, you can't. The more you fight how you feel about you loving this person, you can't, because you are building on karmic energy. Listen, karmic energy is actually transferred a couple ways how to build karma, but one is through your thoughts mentally. One is through your thoughts. One is through your actions. But the thought ones is powerful because when you build on your thought and you build on your thought and you build on your thought, your karmic energy is getting stronger. Think about it. Stronger and stronger and stronger. So now when you're fighting the strength, now it's getting stronger. Now it's getting just ridiculous, outrageous. Now you can't, it's too big now. It's too big. It is too big. You have grown that karmic energy within your body and within your soul. And now it's just too huge. So now the tie, the knot is a lot bigger because you are fighting a feeling. You can't fight a feeling. Hey, Rosetta, how are you doing? May we all reap the benefits of our good labor over our legacy, our children. Amazing. Happy Mother's Day to every woman in here. I know I was saying that before, but I wish you all a great Mother's Day, and I hope that everything is perfect. This day is a beautiful day. So I'm saying, you got to break those connections. You got to break those ties. But the first thing to break those ties is distance yourself. Work that karma off. And when you distance yourself, you can't worry about fighting your feelings so much. They should teach, hey Aaron, they should teach us this in school because I wish I knew. I'm telling you. But you know what though? It's not too late to learn because we still have these connections. Listen, many of us have so much of this within our spirit right now, still from years ago. Many of us have a lot of ties. That's why we are pulled easily. Matter of fact, we even become promiscuous because of it. we even hate ourselves because of it, because you are being pulled from so many directions. You don't know who is you. You don't know which person is you, because you are being pulled by energies, and you feel like you have to be touched here and be spoke to. Your ego is grown. You gotta touch her and feel her and sex with her and sleep with her and live with her, because that's how. Because you need to be touched. This is what happens to a human body that keeps being touched. The body begins to miss the touch. Remember, the body is a memory, and every time you are touched, the DNA is being stored in your body. You're making it, yeah, for real. This body is a memory. That's all the body is. The body is a memory. That's all it is. So the more you are being touched, is the more the fingerprints is being stored. They are literally storing their fingerprints, their DNA prints within you. So when do you know who is right? There's no right or wrong. I don't believe there's a wrong person or a right person. I believe you choose who you need to choose for that specific reason. Trying to cut off a guy who's definitely toxic, I understand that. So she asks, how do you know who is right or when is right? There is no right or wrong. Let me tell you why. Naturally, who you seek is literally seeking you. It's something that you need to get from that person. Yeah, the end results you don't like, but the lesson you're going to need. Because if you did not need that lesson, you won't even go there. You want to look in the direction. You won't look in the direction. If you don't need that anger and that, if you don't need to bring out anger. See, listen, if you don't have insecurities, you will never be drawn to somebody who can bring them out. So those toxic people, those emotional, people who are emotionally intelligent, those people, you won't be drawn to those people because there's nothing to be pulled. So therefore, you don't want that. If you're not angry, you will not be drawn to somebody who brings out your anger, because so that person who can piss you off, you won't be drawn to naturally. The right person is you, right? You are the right person. Here's the thing about the right person. To be the right person, to meet the right person, you have to be the right person, because you can only draw what you are. There's nothing else out there besides you. There's nothing else. So you have to understand this right here. Only you exist. People serving lessons you need to, you need to learn. You're the only one that exists. There's nobody else. Listen, I know that many of us on here looking at me right now, and I'm looking at you all comment, and you're looking, but I only exist in your mind, because you can only see me in your mind. You can only hear me in your mind. I don't exist outside of you. I cannot live outside of you. Outside of you, I cannot live. Dear, please, I can rewatch this later. You gotta go, Faye. Probably on YouTube. I'm gonna post it on YouTube. I might put it on YouTube. But I cannot exist. I can't live outside of you, because, a matter of fact, the only way you are hearing me, is you are hearing me from inside your head. So you're gonna hear what you want to hear. You're gonna hear what you need to hear. You see what I'm saying? How you are seeing me is from your own vision, from your own experience, from your own. Your eyes are connected to your mind. Your eyes are from. There's a light coming on me, right? And then since the light coming on me, you see the light, and now you go to your retina, then it goes to your brain, and then bam, it gives you an image. You see me inside of your head. I don't exist outside of you. So who is right or wrong doesn't exist. There's nobody else existing. Beyond what I'm saying? Well, that's amazing. Nobody else exists. So now you have to understand, what you meet is you. Who you meet is you. You meet a version of you from your from your consciousness, from your frequency that you are emitting out in the universe. Within the universe, you are meeting yourself, because that's all you can meet. Because you can only meet those who are harmoniously vibrating on your frequency. That's what you're meeting. I should do an audiobook. Ah, man. So you haven't been touched in so long that it's beginning to. I believe you. I believe you. we get what we are. We don't get what we want. We get what we are. And sometimes, here's misinformation too. Sometimes, I know we want somebody to be with physically, intimately sometimes. But sometimes, you meet them in your friends. You meet them in your parents. You meet the same frequency within your family member. Sometimes you meet that frequency that you are aligned with in somebody who and you are just close friends. See, sometimes those people are there to remind us that we are on that same frequency. So we shouldn't even be stressed and worried about meeting somebody else, because when you're on the frequency, everything that you are in tune with would come to you. There's no reason to search, to be because once you start, see, many of us, we begin to be frustrated. We begin to be angry. Sometimes even angry at God. I don't know why I want to meet these people. I don't know what's wrong with me. You start to think that something is wrong with you. Something is wrong. What's wrong with me, right? Thank you, Miss Brightside. What's wrong with me? Something must be off. And sometimes there's nothing off except that you are resisting something. You are resisting your own self. You are resisting the seed that you plant. See, you planted the seed of your frequency, and now you don't let the frequency work. You want to do the work instead of the frequency. You want to go looking. There is nothing to look for. There is nothing to look for. There is no one to look for, because what you are seeking is seeking you. If what you are seeking is seeking you, then you don't look for something. You recognize them. You don't look for them. You recognize them, because you recognize in your own frequency. See, you don't find your frequency. You recognize it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, yes, was it? You can't find your frequency. You can only recognize it. There's nothing to find. There's nothing to find out there. You tapped into it. Once you tapped into it, you know that you are tapped in. So therefore, you draw it to you. And when he or she comes to you in a physical form of your spiritual frequency, because they come in physical form. Something when you discover it, yeah. And when they come in physical form, it's like, right now, quantum physics. Now, I'm not a scientist. Let me give that disclaimer, because I don't want to. You are thinking that I know something that I don't. So I don't know, but I've learned a lot being conscious. Because once you become conscious, or once you are on the path of consciousness or enlightenment, it's all within you. Once you're on this journey of enlightenment. Son Lion, are you still here, man? Sanders, are you still here? When you're on a journey of enlightenment, one of the things that you do is that you just are in tune with knowledge. You just want knowledge. All you want is knowledge. But it's not just knowledge. You want useful knowledge. Not the stuff that you won't use. Not the stuff that you won't use. Not the stuff that's going to just, you want to know just to talk about it, just so that you can argue with people or to debate. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about once you're on the path for enlightenment, you just seek knowledge so everything becomes beautiful. One of my biggest things is quantum physics. And you would think that I'm an educated man, but I'm not. I just read. I just want to seek things for myself. But when you look at quantum physics, one of the reasons why quantum physics is so powerful is that you realize in an atom, the molecules, in an atom, the electrons in an atom is not it's not steady. The electrons don't have a specific place that they are. So if this is an atom right here, right? If this is an atom right here, you would assume that the electrons are like right here in the center or somewhere else. But the electrons don't physically appear. They are all over the place. They are jumping. They are jumping. Check this out. They are jumping. They're not at one place. They come in and out of consciousness. They come in and out of consciousness. They come in and out of consciousness. They are just dancing, jumping over the place. And that's the electrons, right? And now, as you think, Five Kings, what's going on with you, brother? My soul feels a different time. Thank you, Miss Brightside. Thank you. I love it. Thank you. And now, as the mind, the power, thinks about this electron, the electron becomes steady at that place and at that time that you're thinking about it. So at that time and that space, the electrons become a visible thing. They are constant emotions, right? Yeah. So now it becomes now a visible thing now. So now it is said that the universe is actually, we make the universe. I'm not saying we created the universe like we are God. I'm saying we create our own reality. Because these electrons, the more we are manifesting these things and we are creating it in our mind, and we put mind over matter, we begin to create our own existence, meaning the house and the car, because these things ain't solid until we create them in our minds. And when you create them, it's yours. Nobody could have what's yours. Nobody could take what's yours. It's impossible. You won't. Is your fingerprints on it. Nobody could take what's yours. Nobody could take what belongs to you. It's impossible. Everybody create their own stuff. The only thing is, we don't know that we are. We don't know that we are creating, because many of us have already created some beautiful things that's waiting. We created some beautiful things that's still waiting, and they are still waiting based on our emotions, our anger, our temper, and all these things that we built up resistance from them coming to us. Because now, as we created them in our minds, we were at a certain frequency. We was at a frequency when we created them. Now the anger and the resentment sits in and is like, the frequency is not the same. Now the frequency, the plans succeed. Now the frequency is not the same. We created at the high frequency. Now we're at a low frequency. It doesn't line up anymore. And until you raise your consciousness and your frequency, now it could come to you. Many of us, what we have wanted for these years is right there. It's right there. But we allow unforgiveness. Somebody do you something, you want to hold on to the unforgiveness. We allow frustration and resentment to sit in our spirit. We allowed sex to separate us from what we get now. And sometimes with sex, sometimes with sexual desires and sexual beings and sexual, energy. You remember, you create with sex, right? You procreate with sex, but it's not just people that you procreate. You don't just create people or babies. You create a lot of things with sex, because sex is the force that human beings can create it, because it's sex that raises your frequency. I understand this. It's a frequency that you are on and the height of your orgasm that transfer that from you to them. So when you raise your frequency, baby is born. Baby's conceived. So it's not just, you don't just conceive sex. I mean, you don't only conceive babies with sex. You conceive all the spirits, depending on where your frequency is. Jealousy, guilt, sadness. All these things that we create with sex. Sex is creating everything for us, and we don't even realize. Stop having sex for a while. See what your energy is without sex. Grief, see what your energy is without sex. See what your life is without sex. Become celibate for a minute to experience your own selves. Because when you are not celibate for a while, when you don't experience you without sex, you don't know who you are, because you are always co-joined with someone else's energy. Understand, this is what happens. You are always with somebody. And sometimes your body is like, I just want to be free. Because you already have enough karmic energy. And sometimes we haven't worked off that past karmic energy from the past person. Everything stems from it. We have to give our bodies time to just be by itself. That's why meditation in itself is peaceful, because you by yourself, doing nothing, being nothing, saying nothing. You're just there in peace, just existing. You're not thinking, so you're not building karmic energy in your thoughts, in your mind. Real connection and compassion without it, and then it moves intense with it. Yeah, for real. It feels good to you. What feels good to you, Ebony? The sex, you mean? Or the celibacy. Existing without yourself outside of anyone else. Yeah, man, Sam. For real. But it's an amazing experience. It's an amazing experience to feel yourself and to be yourself, your true self. Many of us haven't experienced or discovered our true self yet. Listen, let me tell you this. Let's be deep for a second, okay? Let's go deep for a second. I haven't went deep yet. Let's go deep for a second. If you experience yourself, if you experience your true self, if you have really experienced your true self, all those long suffering that we experience, we won't. We really, funny thing is I'm having my own bedroom now and me and my hubby are better than ever. That's amazing. But if you really experience yourself, the first thing that you will do is that you love yourself. Because to know thyself is to love thyself. Hey Onami, how are you? To know thyself is to love thyself. To know thyself is to understand thyself. And to understand thyself is to understand who you are and whom you are and what you are. So therefore, love must happen. Love must, because when you start to see the beauty and the love that you generate and the energy that comes from you and the knowledge of self and the knowledge of who you are and the knowledge of who you are what you are connected with and the power that lies within you. See, if you know yourself, you cannot hate yourself. I promise you. See, it's when you don't know yourself, you start doing silly stuff. You start being, you want to be liked by people. You want to be accepted. You want people to, you are tempted by with views and attention creates joy within your spirit. The ego is being touched, smelled, and so you're feeling good. But I'm telling you, to know thyself is to love thyself, because when you know you understand. Listen, hey. So when you are actually to know you to know yourself is one of the greatest things, because when you know yourself, everything else makes sense. Love versus love. How do you distinguish being in love versus just love? Now, I'm going to give you an answer. And I know this is not going to be the popular answer. But I want you to think about my answers that I'm giving you, okay? I want you to think about this answer, okay? I'm about to answer this question. I don't usually talk about that much. Hey, Brands, how you doing? Happy Mother's Day to you too. So she asks, how do you distinguish being in love versus love? So let me answer this question. How do you distinguish being in love? So in the beginning of a relationship, when we start to like this person, we start to have a love bank become to be, the people are depositing things in our love bank, and our love bank is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, you go to a time where you can't think without this person on your mind. You can't eat without them on your mind. Everywhere you go, they're on your mind. Everything that you do, they're on your mind, and you just want to be around them. You've craved them, you crave their energy, and that's what we call in love, right? That's exactly what we call in love. We call that moment when you just want to be with this person, you want to talk to them, you want to hear their voice, you want to tell them good night, you want to tell them good morning, you want to just touch them, love them, sex them, everything. Plant base, how you doing? How you doing there? And that's what we consider love. Hey, Boldly Inspiring Action, how are you? So now, what we consider in love is that experience, but that experience is actually you being obsessed. It's not love, it's obsession. Because now you crave that person's attention, you craving their feeling. And if you think about it, it's an obsession. Everything that you do, you want to see them, you want to hear them, you want to touch them, you want to feel them, you want to smell them. Your senses crave them, your spirit crave them, your body crave them, you want to hear their voice. That's literally obsession. But then that dies down. Yeah. That dies down after a while. Because now it works itself out, and bam, what sets down is love. Because love is not a feeling, but yet it's including a feeling. Love is not really a feeling, but it's included in there. Love is a state of being that you are. Love is what you generate. So how can you tell that you love them? Well, do you care for them? Do you want to protect them? Because sometimes other people comes along, especially in the beginning, right? Hey, Crone, how are you doing? Sometimes other people come along, to be honest. Sometimes other people come, like, let's say you have a relationship. Other people can come and they're going to strike. People can strike up straight up great energy and great emotions in your heart, and you're like, oh my God. See, what I once had with my wife or my husband, I no longer have. I think I love you more than I love my wife or my husband, my boyfriend or girlfriend, because it's brand new. So now you are going through, again, that obsession stage that you start to stop looking at your girlfriend or your wife. You stop looking at them because you think that now they are boring. In all realities, your mind is open to a new thing. And once it's new, your mind experiences, it want to experience, it want to indulge, you want to learn, you want to do all these things. So now your mind is just like, hey, let's do it. Let's do it. You gotta hide it. You can be carefree. You can live freely. You can do all these things. So the mind is completely over there, like, oh my God, I love. And then it calms down, and then you realize, yeah, I still love my wife or my husband. Because in the end, when you calm down from the obsession stage, you realize that you care for this person, the one that you're with. You realize it's not as fun as he or he is not as fun as the other person, but you care about their spirit. You care about their well-being. You care about their safety. You actually love them like you are invested in their life. Like this is, I think we look for that excitement. But sometimes the excitement is not love. The excitement is just you. Your mind is just playing trick on you. Your mind is just indulging a new thing. It's brand new. So it's like a new shiny toy. Hey, the one that I had before became dull. But after a while, you go back to the one you had before anyways. Sometimes it grows more soft. Yeah, well, it grows more, yeah. So, but we have to understand sometimes love is just calm and humble. You know, love is a very humble thing. Love is very humble. Love is quiet. Love is peaceful. Love is so. This is what love is. See, people think that's boring. You know, to be in a room with one person, we ain't got to talk. We ain't got to do all this stuff, but we can be just them being right next to us. We feel like, I'm good. We ain't got to strike up no deep conversation. See, everybody wants somebody. How if you can't speak to me like this, then we can't be together. No, sometimes you could listen. When I was younger, I once thought. Thank you, Miss Ada. Thank you. I once thought that, especially when I was getting into this place, consciousness. Oh, if she ain't conscious, I can't talk to her. Oh man, if she can't do this, I can't talk to her. Man, if she ain't do, I can't talk to her. And then I realized, wait, my consciousness is for me. It's not for her. Why would I want to spark up things within me? That means I don't have control over me. I want to spark my own self up when I want to spark myself up. I don't want to give you the power to spark me up. I don't want to, why you gotta, what is that word? You gotta be able to something in my mind. What's that word again? Thank you all for the gift. Thank you so much. What's that word that you all use? I want somebody to something in my mind. What is that word? What the heck is that word? I need somebody to something in my mind. I think it starts with an S. I need somebody to something in my body. Stimulate, Erica. Thank you. Stimulate. I need somebody to, if you can't stimulate my mind, but why would I want you to stimulate my mind? It's my mind. See, many of us can't stimulate our own damn mind. Seriously. So many of us, we have lived so long. Listen, let's be real. We have lived so long and we cannot stimulate our own mind. So we need somebody on the outside to do it for us. So when we realize that somebody can't do it for us, you know what they do? They become boring. Oh, you boring. You boring. Oh, you get boring. Number one, nobody is boring. You are. Many people, listen, I'm just being real. I'm sorry if I don't want to offend nobody. What's up, Kaiser? How you doing, man? I don't want to offend nobody. I'm very humble saying this. Many of us get tired of people. Many of us become bored with people. And a lot of times it's because we are the boring one. Because we cannot stimulate the ones. We expect people to do so much for us. Yes, the expectation of our partners, we want somebody to do all these things. If you can't do this and you ain't bringing me happiness, nobody bring you happiness. They should find happiness there. Love just is effortless. It is very effortlessly. But we want somebody to do things to us that we can't do for ourselves. So if you can't, why would I want a woman to stimulate my mind? If I don't need a woman to stimulate my mind, then I could be with anybody. Options become more. I'm not stuck. See, a lot of times when we are educated, we need somebody to be educated too. I'm not educated, yet I don't have issues. Why? I'm not formally educated, but yet I can hold a conversation. We think that our partner got to be everything for us. No, I could have friends to talk to. If I want to go deep in spiritual stuff, I could have friends outside my marriage, my relationship, my girlfriend. I could have friends to hold those. I don't need my partner to be that person. I like when somebody's being themselves. You can, as long as you listen. And whatever you, because this is my journey. It's not yours. I chose to be this. So why do I expect, just because you are my girlfriend, my wife, my partner, your husband, your boyfriend, why must I expect you to match me in that way? We don't have to have that same experience to have the same frequency. Listen, we don't have to believe in the same thing to have the same frequency. We don't have, let me say it again, we don't have to believe in the same thing to have the same frequency. Don't be amused, for real, are we? We don't have to believe in the same thing. If your frequency high, my frequency high, you don't gotta stimulate my mind. I'm a grown man. I could stimulate my mind. Listen, I don't think you all see this. You see all them books up there? Do you see all them books up there? Listen, that's just some of the books that I brought here. I don't need you to stimulate my mind. I could stimulate my own mind. All I got to do is pick up a book up. I could pick a book up and just start reading. Oh, okay, so this is how, I could look on YouTube and find videos. I'm like, oh, shoot. So if I could do that, sometimes my deepest conversation, I'm by myself. I don't care who I'm with. I don't care my deepest conversation, I swear to God, my deepest conversation is when I'm alone. You cannot stimulate my mind. I don't need to stimulate my mind. I can stimulate my own body. It's my body. I'm the one who been had it for 40-something years. If I don't know how to stimulate it, something is wrong. We expect people. We expect people to come and change our lives. That's your job. That's your job. Put this on YouTube? Okay, I will. Nora said, I am totally depressed. I cried for hours. Well, you have to ask yourself, why are you depressed? I mean, that's the question. Why do you feel like you're depressed? If you are real, because I hope that you're not somebody who just saying that. Once you are complete, you just love people. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Here, we expect people, and I hear a lot of people talk. I listen. I'm very observant. I observe a lot. And a lot of times, I even had women come to me telling me certain things. You gotta have this, you gotta have that, you gotta be able to do this, you gotta be able to do that. And I'm like, yeah, you're looking for something that's physical, because many of us not depend on them. You can't give what you don't have. Facts. But sometimes we can give people the ability and the insight of loving themselves. So sometimes even when somebody don't love themselves, we can still attract. Sometimes you can give somebody the ability or the insight of loving their own selves. I used to think, if you don't love yourself, you probably shouldn't. But sometimes a person comes along and you can love them, and you can love and accept them so much that they start to accept themselves. They start to say, oh, shoot, you see all this in me? And you're like, yeah, I see a lot in you. And they're like, really? What do you see? And you start telling them what they see. After a while, they start to open up certain portals in their mind that they begin to see it too. Yeah. People start, listen, you can love people sometimes into making, but it's them doing it on their own. It's them doing it on their own, because when you love somebody, number one, when you love, right, you invest. You even realize it until you saw them. Yeah. When you love, you invest. And when you invest, a lot of times you inspire. And because love is inspiring. I don't care what nobody says. Love, one of the biggest things that you will do when you love is inspire. You will inspire. You will inspire. You're going to inspire without you even trying, because that's what comes with love. Love is one of them things that, since love is a creator, it also inspires others to create. It has to. So when love is in the mix, people are inspired. And people are inspired to love themselves. and to be kind to themselves. Because now, the way you love them, they're like, oh, shoot, I'm worthy of this? Yes, you are. Because you're loving them based on you. You're not loving them based on them. You're loving them based on you. And that's what God does, right? Or the universe or Jesus Christ or whatever we say. That's what they did. They loved you based on who they were. See, when we can love based on ourselves, people are gonna be in our presence and just be happy, be themselves. Now, I ain't saying it's easy. And I think even many times we are misunderstood. I think me personally, the way I love, I'm very misunderstood. You think I have a gift, Lynn? I think for me, the way I love, I'm misunderstood because I love in a way that we can talk about me. Thank you for the message. Thank you. Thank you. When you will learn to love yourself, so many things open up within you. Yeah, you open up so much portals. Because what love is an enlightenment. Transcends all space and time. Yeah. Love is enlightenment. That's what love is, enlightenment. So when you become love, you begin to love, you begin to wake up. And when you wake up, the first thing that you realize when you wake up, when you have love, is your body, because you are the one present. You are the one here. So this is what we call self-love. When you begin to have love, you begin to awaken. Like, for instance, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you see is your body. You see your hands, you see your legs, you feel your legs, you experience your body, you experience your mood, you experience where you are, you experience right here. I am right here. Listen, when you begin to wake up, let's be real. Because that's what love does. When you begin to wake up, I thought about your love language. I don't really have a love language. Because I don't really depend on outside to make me feel anything. I have come to that point in my life where I don't depend on the outside. Now, if I have someone and she wants to make me, I like touch. I personally like touch. If I have someone who like to touch, I'm good. Even better. It just adds to my, I'm like, oh, I love the experience. Like, you touch my back? Oh, shoot, I'm out. Listen, you touch my back, and I'm like, oh, God, I ain't going. I was going to the club, but I ain't going no more. I was going to go to the gym, but I just stay right here. I relax. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. I ain't either one. I'm a Scorpio. But I'm saying this, that you touch my back, listen. But you don't touch me, I'm perfectly fine too. But did you say Chrome? Let me go back. I'm enjoying this realness of your words. Thank you, user 6345. Hey Habibi, how you doing? Great to see you. Thank you. Chrome, what did you say? You love in a way that's so easy, free and simple. That same can't understand. That some can't understand it. Yeah. I mean, I believe I love simple because you are who you are. I am who I am. I don't force you to be anything. I can't make you to be anything. I don't want you to be anything. I always want you to be you. Just be you. And you know what? The best way to love, and when people feel comfortable when you allow them to be themselves. When you allow them to be themselves. Now, sometimes people can misunderstand about you allowing them to be themselves because they think that you try to change them. But sometimes I think I'm at a point in my life where my knowledge, sometimes when I speak, people think I'm judging them, but I'm not judging. I don't have nothing to judge, because if I judge people, you know who I am? Shoot, you know who I used to be? I can't judge people. I know it don't make sense to judge people, but I think I speak in a way that people think or misunderstand. I'm not judging. I'm just telling you, look at it this way. Look at it this way. But then sometimes I'm thoughtful about this, and I'm like, let me stay quiet because I know I could be misunderstood easily. But people start to look at you like, you have all the answers. I don't have any answers. I don't have answers for no one. And so in a relationship, I have to be very careful. Because the way how I am, hey Caboose, how you doing? The way how I am, I'm a lover. I don't really fight. I'm not a fighter. I don't fight for things because I believe what's mine is mine. So I don't believe in a place of fight, and I always gotta fight to keep what's mine. Because you don't have to fight to keep what's yours. And the journey I'm on a journey of detachment. I'm not at the attachment phase no more. I'm at a detachment phase. If it causes arguments and fights, I don't want it. So some might say, so in a relationship, I don't want it either. Thank you. I can't pronounce your name. Gum Honorine. Thank you. Time I felt that way, but I was wrong. I had to learn you. Yeah, but I'm just saying, if it brings me arguments and fight and destruction, I don't want it. And people think that that's me being mean and you don't care. I care, but I cannot experience. I experienced that back in the days. I experienced those emotional stages where I was emotional and upset and angry. I don't want to experience that anymore. I don't want. So if that what it brings, I don't want it. Because we have to understand. We have to understand that we are so connected to our manifestations and to our way of being and to life, our bodies, our spirits, our souls, sicknesses, diseases, health. We are so connected to our dreams, our money. Why allow those things to be in your spirit, even if for a day, for 24 hours, keeping anger and resentment in your spirit blocks you completely, man. It blocks you. It closes you up. Next thing you know, I don't want it. I don't want it. So if that means that I don't need a relationship, hey, to do what? To do what with? Because many of us, you realize people don't listen, let me tell you this. This is real. When people know that you are perfectly fine and happy without them, oh, they don't screw up. They don't screw up. They don't screw up. Thank you, Janice. Thank you. It's a breath of fresh air and such not it. Thank you. Thank you so much. When people know that you are at peace and happy with your life, they don't screw up. Oh, they know. Hey. Because you don't have to cuss people out. At this stage in your life. Hey, Maid Moist. How you doing? Thank you. Thank you. When people know that you are perfectly fine on your own, people don't screw up with you. It's people who are attached is who they play with. People get attached, and when they get attached, they can't leave. I'm a ride or die. No, I'm not a ride or die. I ride or die on myself because I was born here by myself. So therefore, I'm perfectly fine. Listen, I don't have to cuss you out. We don't have to argue. As a matter of fact, I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to fight. I don't want that to stir my spirit up. So I just let me leave in peace. Because that argument is going to build a bunch of unforgiveness and resentment in my heart, and I can't afford that. At this age, we can't afford that. Because as soon as we start to build those things, I'm 40 some years old. Heart attacks is what you said. My heart hurt. No, ma'am. This is deeper than this. To build my joy in God, and yeah, heart attacks is seriously. I'm 42 years old. I cannot. And not so. Somebody asked how they are. Somebody said they want to learn how to love again. Let me tell you how to love again. Not loving is harder than loving. You tell no lies, right or die. Yeah, we who? They either don't fool with you or they attempt to knock you back down to their frequency. A lot of times, for real. Somebody asked, how do you love again, right? They find it hard to love again. Not loving is very harder than loving. Not loving is you stress. Okay, so the person who asks that, the person who asks that, you say you have a problem and you find it hard to love again. Let me ask you a question. Are you happy? Do you have trust? Do you have honor? Do you have patience? Are you struggling? Do you have chest pains? Do you have all this emotional needs? Do you have anger and resentment? Do you have unforgiveness? Do you carry all those things? The person who asked earlier that it's hard to love again. How do you love again? Do you have anger? Do you have all them things? Are you experiencing spiritual death? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling disconnected? Because a lot of times when your heart is closed, that's what you're going to experience. Tell me that's not harder than loving again. Tell me that's not harder. Tell me living in that space ain't harder. Man, that's hard as it. That's depressing. Actually, that is depression. Over and over, no one can stop me from doing exactly. Yeah, you're lonely, you're sad, you resentment, unforgiveness. Not loving is more harder than loving. Not loving, it is so much harder than actually loving. Listen, not loving is death. It's literally spiritual death. You die. It's like, oh shit. Every morning you wake up, you can't find nothing. There's nothing there to look forward to. The faith is gone. It's just living in fear all the time. You are fearful for your life. You fear to meet people. Everybody's against you. You are not connected. You are disconnected from this whole entire universe. You feel you ain't grounded. Come on. That's a rough place to be. So how can you love again? By releasing those things. Okay, so let me tell you. I don't ever hold on to the feeling of. So here's the thing right here, right? Here's the thing. Check this out. Now, so Johnny said, I am willing to love over and over again. Now, check this out. I have been betrayed by someone I trusted, so I find it impossible to do that again. But you basing everyone on one person. So you basing the fate of the world on one person, right? You basing the fate of the world on everyone else based on one person. Sometimes you gotta see that person for what he is, and then the other person is not that other person. So how do you not do it again? Is because you closed. The reason why you can't do it again is because you have closed now, because your heart chakra is closed. So you can't. It's very hard for you to trust. So that's just something that's just something that came as a result of from your heart chakra being closed from disappointment, and it's very hard again because you are seeing behind a smoky mirror, right? Smoky glasses. You are seeing behind a smoky shades or lens that you are wearing. So everything looks shaky. Everything looks smoky. Everything looks like you can't be trusted because that's where you are looking from. You are looking from your mind, and your mind is you can't trust yourself. You can't trust anybody else. Remember, what you see is based on your mind. What you see is not real. You are seeing things based on how you feel and how you think. You are seeing based on yourself. Now, somebody said, I will love over and over and over again. I only love once. I don't need to love over and over again because my love don't stop, because my love is not intended for one person. I can't love one person. I can't just love one thing. I can't love just a sunset. It's like a light. Because remember, your love is an enlightenment. And I said this before. You cannot just shine your light on one thing. If I put my light on, everything in that place lights up. Everything in the place lights up. Everything in the place lights up. Love is enlightenment. So when you love, you can't stop and start. Don't stop and start. Because when you stop and start, it's like you gotta charge up again, right? Every time you stop, you gotta. It takes you great courage and great to start. It's like you put in that. It's like you're working on a lawnmower. You gotta. Your heart is like, right? It's like, God dang, right? Like, oh my God. Then the smoke comes out. And you start to smoke. Then after a while, you start up. Then you start to love. You can't stop loving. You ain't never gonna stop loving. Love is enlightenment. So when you love everything. You just can't love one thing. See, yes, I understand loving one person intimately. But when you love one person intimately, you still love them with an understanding that when this one thing is done, the next thing is perfectly. Listen, check this out. This moment right here of me speaking right now. Hold on. Stop texting for 1 second, okay? Stop commenting for 1 second. Just for 1 second. I want you to see something, okay? Let's do an experiment, okay? Let me show you exactly what I do. Stop texting and commenting for 1 second. I'm gonna speak to you for 60 seconds. Okay? I'm gonna speak the things that you need to hear. I'm gonna speak some love in your life. I'm gonna speak some. Alright, so 6 seconds start now. Listen, you are amazing. You are loved. You are beautiful. You are strong. You are able. You are passionate. You are me. You are a creation of God. And you are so amazing. And if you just keep trying, if you just keep being you, if you just keep being the amazing person that God created, if you are just loving on yourself, and you have the ability to change the weather, you have the ability to change your body, you have the ability to change your mind, you have the ability to change your feelings, you have the ability to be the woman or the man that you are. You are so freaking marvelous. You are the miracle of life itself. You are the miracle. Now, I know that you understanding this. I know you liking this and you loving this voice and you loving this word, right? It's an amazing voice. It is amazing information I'll just give you. Now, if you loved it, check this out. The ability to love that when I just speak for 6 seconds and to love this next moment when I'm done is great. Listen, I'm going to stop talking for 60 seconds. Tell me which one you love more. Ready? Time. Now check this out. So many of you all love more the time when I was speaking because it sounded good, touched your spirit, made you feel better, made you feel because you listened to me. So now your senses was all in there, right? It was all in tune. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. We get so used to something that when it stops, we begin to suffer. Now I love this more. How can you love something more? There's nothing more. Love is one. There's no more or less of it. You can't love somebody more than the next. You love or you don't. There's no measure of love. Love has no measure. Love is just love. So understand this. Check this out. The problem is we love one moment more than the next. This is why depression is caused. This is why anxiety is happening. Because we begin to love one moment and not love the next. This is why we can't detach. Let me tell you this. There is so much power in one moment that the next moment has the same amount of power. Every moment comes with a seed of lesson, a seed of growth, a seed of true understanding, a seed of a choice. Every lesson, every moment comes with the same amount of it. The issue is we love one more. And when we love one moment more than the next, then these times that we spend in these relationships, these times that we spend with somebody is valued more than the time when we don't spend with them. So we begin to suffer. Kaiser, we begin to suffer because now the moment is finished. So when this moment is finished, I need something else to keep going, take its place. No, let this moment be what it is. Understand this moment. Love this moment. See, sometimes nobody like quiet. You are always going to be distracted. You are always going to feel and touch and hear and see and smell. Your senses are always having to be used. Your senses is always having to be experienced. You are always going to experience every sense. Learn to just silence your sense. Those 5 senses are just meant for survival. Those senses are just for survival. Hey, India Rosa, your senses are just for survival. But when it comes to spiritual, elevating consciousness, you have to cut those senses out and just learn to be. Don't love one moment more than the next moment. If you do, suffering will be present. Don't love. Please, somebody put this on the screen. Text this. I want you all to understand. I want you all to feed from this. Please, don't love one moment more than the next. I don't care what you're experiencing. Even when you're experiencing your trauma, even when you're experiencing your pain, even when you experience your hurt, appreciate it. Because the bottom line is you have life within you. You are life. Appreciate whichever moment that you're going through. See, if you are enjoying the moment when everything is going good, enjoy the moment when things ain't going good either. You have to balance. You have that balance. You have to make a choice. You have to recognize that one moment cannot be greater than the next because each moment have the same seed. Don't ever love one moment. This is how we kill loneliness. This is how we begin to kill all this. I can't love again. I can't stop. Never stop loving. When you love someone and they leave you, you ain't got to stop loving them, but let them go anyways. You don't have to stop loving people to move on. Matter of fact, loving